All right. Welcome, everyone, to the 5th Annual Workplace Mental Health Conference. It's 75 degrees out and the sun is shining in Ann Arbor. The weather, the sunshine, it's perfect for playing tennis or maybe playing some football. Those things could help our mental health, but you have chosen another way to improve your mental health, and that is learning. And so I'm so happy to be able to welcome you. I'm Sagar Parikh. I'm a professor here at the University of Michigan, and I'm one of the conference co-chairs. This conference is really a team effort, and you're going to hear more about the team in a second. But there's one person in particular who has done the lion's share of organizing and thinking about this conference, and that's Ms. Danielle Taubman. So why don't we turn it over to her to hear some more details about today's event.
Hi, everyone. I'm Danielle Taubman, and I'm also very pleased to welcome you to our 5th Annual Workplace Mental Health Conference. I'm a project manager at the Eisenberg Family Depression Center, and I've been part of our Workplace Mental Health Solutions team since 2019. Whether this is your first time attending this conference or you've joined for several years, it's great to have you here. We hope you get a lot out of the sessions, and we're looking forward to the range of important and timely topics that will be addressed today. First, I'll start us off with a few housekeeping items. All sessions of the conference will be recorded. The recordings will be sent out by email within 30 days, and slides will be shared with you following the event. This conference uses 2 Zoom links. The majority of the conference will take place on the primary webinar link that you use to join the conference. A secondary link will host concurrent sessions 2 and 4. And we will share that link with you in the chat just before those sessions. So hopefully it will be very easy for you to navigate. If you experience any technical issues during the conference, please send a chat message directly to Sarah Acree from our team, and she'll help you out. As an attendee, your video and sound are off, but we encourage you to use the Q&A function to ask our speakers questions throughout the conference. Questions will mostly be answered at the end of each presentation, but you can feel free to share them as they come up for you. Please use the chat function to share comments or respond to prompts from us or our speakers. If you would like subtitles during the conference, please click on the CC button at the bottom of your control bar on Zoom to view a live transcription of today's presentations. We also encourage you to use hashtag #UMICHWMHC, hashtag UMICHWMHC to share insights from the conference on social media. Lastly, this conference is approved by the University of Michigan to provide continuing education units, and the U of M Eisenberg Family Depression Center is recognized by SHRM to offer professional development credits. To receive a certificate of attendance and these credits, please complete the conference evaluation that we share with you by the end of the month. After you've submitted your application, you'll be able to click a link to download your certificate. Please reach out to your membership organization with specific questions about applying these credits. Even if you don't need CEs, we would really appreciate your feedback. We take it into account to improve future events. We would also like to take a moment to recognize our conference planning committee, which had representation from across the University of Michigan, as well as a number of external organizations. We really appreciate your time, enthusiasm, and help in making this conference a reality. Next, we want to extend a huge thank you to our conference sponsor, the University of Michigan Eisenberg Family Depression Center, and our promotional partners, the U of M Center for Occupational Health and Safety Engineering, the U of M Center for Positive Organizations, and Wellness Works. Finally, thank you to all of our wonderful speakers this year. We look forward to hearing all of your insights and learning from you today. Now, I want to share some data and insights on where we're at with workplace mental health, both the good and the bad, as well as highlight some of the areas that will be discussed today, including the opportunities and responsibilities employers have to support their employees' mental well-being. Building on the momentum gained since the pandemic, mental health continues to be a priority for both employees and employers in 2024. However, there's often still misalignment between what company leaders feel they're offering employees and how employees actually feel about the support they receive. According to one recent survey, just 56% of workers believe their company cares about their well-being and is taking real steps to support it, versus 82% of executives who believe this to be true. A recent survey has also found that about 40% of employees are feeling very stressed out and 15% feel disengaged. Those who work in companies with poor management practices who are actively disengaged are nearly 60% more likely to be stressed than employees working in environments with good management practices. Today's speakers will take a closer look at how to tackle these kinds of issues. Organizations and their workers have experienced many challenges in recent years, including employee burnout, global conflict, political stress, climate change anxiety, and economic challenges. These have a far-reaching and powerful impact on employee mental health and productivity. Amidst these ongoing problems, it's clear that not only acknowledging, but also addressing the impact of stressors both in and outside of the workplace is essential. That's why we've themed this year's conference around taking a comprehensive approach to worker well-being. This year's theme highlights the importance of expanding the scope of what drives employee mental health by addressing wellness beyond the workplace. Session topics include the whole person workplace, caregiving, trauma, substance use, and novel programs and strategies to support local and global workforces. We hope today's session will help you stay ahead of industry trends and bring more innovative, more sustainable, and more impactful strategies back to your workplace. To start things off, we want to share some helpful workplace mental health resources right up front. All of these are online and freely accessible, and the slides will be shared with links so you can explore the resources mentioned. First, the Depression Center Toolkit is an online educational resource from the Eisenberg Family Depression Center that includes self-assessments, treatment options, tips for coping with and managing a mental illness, and ways to support others and raise awareness. Second, the Wellness Worksite is part of an initiative from the Detroit Regional Chamber and Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan that connects businesses with education and tools to develop a wellness strategy and encourage healthy habits in the workplace. Their employer guide provides strategies to prioritize mental health support in the workplace, but their whole site is worth checking out. Third, the What is a Mentally Healthy Workplace page from Mindshare Partners provides a helpful overview of how to achieve a mentally healthy workplace environment. The fourth resource is the Workplace Wellness Resource Center from Mental Health America, and it presents research, case studies, and practical strategies for prioritizing mental health at work. They also have an annual workplace mental health report focused on trends and best practices of top employers. Next, the Michigan Department of Labor and Economic Opportunity has been running its mental health in the workplace initiative for the last several years. The initiative's web pages include information about its dedicated webinar series and a number of other useful resources. And lastly, the U.S. Surgeon General has created a framework for workplace mental health and well-being, which outlines 5 essentials to help organizations support the mental health and well-being of all workers. We hope you find these resources informative and useful for your workplaces. These represent just a selection of the many helpful and reputable resources and sites that are dedicated to improving worker well-being. And our speakers will also be sharing a number of specific resources for you to make use of. I will now turn it over to Dr. Parikh to go through our conference objectives.
Thank you, Danielle. And it's really chilling, the first statistic that you cited, that over 60% of people think that their employers don't give a damn about their overall well-being. And it's precisely that concern and the broader perception of, we have to consider the entire experience of people, not just their workplace experience, if we are able to maximize well-being. So with that, we designed this conference with 3 overarching objectives. Number one, what is happening in the workplace? What are some of the current trends? And what are employers doing, and how are employees responding to the various programs and initiatives that are being enacted? The second, and the more sort of practical end, is what are the strategies that companies, managers, executives can do to support employees who are juggling both the regular stresses of everyday work, but perhaps also important and really trying personal challenges. And third, we want to take this one step further and really highlight some of the best practices in this area. What have some companies or employers done to really respect, honor, and help the whole person, and in so doing, not only improve the bottom line for the company, yes, but also the bottom line for the person. So those are the three broad objectives of this conference. Here's our agenda for today. We're going to start off with a very nice keynote that looks at the larger perspective, and embedded in that talk are a number of examples of how employers can successfully respect and honor the whole person. We're going to then move to a panel discussion where we have a number of different speakers talking about one of the most pressing types of stress that many people face, and that is caregiving. Many of us have children, or we have aging parents, or we have somebody else whom we care about, and we have to spend extra time and effort. How do we handle that? What can we do? What approaches are there? That is very complex, and that's why we've presented that as a panel discussion. We then will have a series of concurrent sessions, and you will be able to choose one of two concurrent sessions each time. So in the first set of concurrent sessions, there'll be a talk on changing company culture, the role of the manager. So if you're a manager, you might find some particularly useful practical tips. For others, perhaps you're seeing a lot of problems with substance use. And so there is a concurrent session on how to handle the issue of intoxication or drug addiction as it pertains to the workplace. We will then move on to a choice of another two concurrent workshops. One is looking at the larger issue of trauma and identifying something that we don't really know too much about, but we hope will really be clarified in this session, and that is, what is collective trauma in the workplace and how do you handle it? And finally, the broader perspective of how do you understand all the different initiatives and approaches to workplace mental health, and what does the National Alliance for Mental Illness have to tell us from their research in this area? We'll be having a panel discussion about innovations in workplace mental health. So you can see that today's topics start with a broad framing of the theoretical issues, but also involve many practical examples, tips, and solutions. So that's today's agenda. If we move on, we will be able to now talk to you a little bit just about our team here before we move into our presentation. So the Workplace Mental Health Solutions Program here at the University of Michigan is within the Eisenberg Family Depression Center. And you see the individuals who have contributed to this. So many of us serve as consultants in this process. We particularly do a lot of teaching around best practices in different aspects of workplace mental health. And you see all the individuals who are really the leaders within our group on this slide.